Welcome to our video showing you 4 ways to cut an onion, and we're going to help you stay tear-free. Slice an onion in half lengthwise. Stand an onion on its root end. Use a sharp knife to cut it from top stem end down towards the root. You'll be left with 2 halves, each containing half a root and half a stem. Use this technique if your recipe calls for French cut, julienne, thin slice, or thin cut. Cut away the stem end, leaving the root end intact. It'll give you something to grip onto and help hold the onion in place as you cut it. Peel away the papery skin. Some onions have several layers of this thin, papery skin. Keep peeling until you reach the thicker, moist, tender skin. Cut the onion into thin slices. Take one of the onion halves and set it down on the cutting board like a dome. Begin cutting at one end and finish cutting at the other. Cutting an onion widthwise or against the grain will give it a sharper taste. Cutting an onion lengthwise or with the grain will give it a milder flavor. How thick or thin you cut the slices depends on your recipe, but between half an inch and 1/4 of an inch thick should be ideal. Chopping, dicing, or mincing an onion. Slice an onion in half vertically. Stand an onion on its root end, pick up a sharp knife and slice it down the middle from top to bottom. Pull apart the 2 halves. Chopping, dicing, and mincing all require the same technique. The difference is only how small you cut the pieces. Slice off the stem end and discard it. Leave the root end intact, and repeat this step for the other onion half. Peel the skin away. Slice the onion lengthwise. Push the tip of the knife into the root end, slice downwards towards the stem end. Work your way from one side of the onion to the other. Hold the onion by the root end and avoid cutting through it. Slice the onion in half widthwise. Cut straight across the cuts you made in the previous step. Start at the cut stem end and work your way towards the root end. The closer together you make the slices, the smaller the pieces will be. Now chop the onion widthwise. Cut the onion from the top down, just like you did for the lengthwise cuts. This will cause the pieces to detach from the root, so start at the edge and work your way towards the root. When you're done, you'll have a thinly cut onion. Repeat the process for the other half. Chop, mince, or dice up the other onion half. Cutting onion rings. Use a sharp knife to slice off one of the curved sides by 1/4 of an inch. Do not cut the root or the tapered end just yet. Use your fingers or a knife to pry the dry, papery outer layer from the onion. Grab it from the side you just cut and pull it away. You may have to peel several layers. Set the onion down on the side you just cut. This will help keep the onion steady and prevent it from rolling around as you cut. The root and tapered end should still be sticking out to the sides. Set your non-dominant hand on the tapered end of the onion and leave the stubby root end exposed. You'll be cutting from this end first. Slice the onion into rings from one end into the other. Begin slicing at the root end and finish slicing at the tapered end. Make sure the knife is very sharp. You can slice the onion as thick or thin as you want to. Thicker slices are great for frying, while medium ones are ideal for burgers. Slice the onion as thin as possible if you're making a salad. Slicing an onion into quarters. Trim off both ends of the onion. In most cases, you'll want to leave the root end on the onion. When you're cutting the onion into chunks, however, you want to cut off both the root end and the stem end. This method is ideal for roasting and grilling onions. Stand the onion up on one of its cut ends and use a very sharp knife to cut the onion in half from top to bottom. Peel away the outer skin. Once you reach the moist, tender skin underneath, you're ready for the next step. Cut the onion in half again lengthwise. Cut the onion further into wedges if required. Continue cutting the onion lengthwise, but this time at an angle. Cut the onion in half horizontally, then separate the layers. How much you separate the layers is up to you. If you're roasting the onion, you might want to separate all the layers into individual flakes. If you're making kebabs, you might want to keep the pieces about 2 layers thick instead. As always, thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up or a comment. Share it with a friend if you know someone who might find this video useful.